the campus of Fayetteville State University, and our signal is carried by WUNC Chapel Hill. Today is April the 3rd, Tuesday, 2018, and your radio hosts today are Kiara and
Linda Miller.
We will be reading the news for today's edition of the Fayetteville Observer.
Good morning. Your weather today, very warm with clouds and sun. Tonight, 64 degrees, some clouds, breezy. Wednesday, 76 degrees, a couple of showers and a thunderstorm. Thursday, we're looking at mostly sunny. Friday, beautiful with partial sunshine. And Saturday, 55 degrees, cooler with periods of rain. And Sunday, cloudy and cool. And then back to Monday, cloudy, heavy rain at night.
Need to know. Number 1, Bright Ideas Grants. Teachers may apply for grants from South River Electric Membership Corporation, which accepts to award $50,000 for classroom projects and materials through the Bright Ideas Grant Program. Teachers from K through 12 public schools can apply for as much as $2,500. The application deadline is September the 19th. Find out more at ncbrightideas.com. Number 2, FSU Founders Day. Henry Louis Gates Jr., a renowned scholar, historian, and educator, will be the guest speaker for Fayetteville State University's 151st Founders Day on Thursday. The event is scheduled for 2 p.m. in J.W. Seabrook Auditorium on the campus. FSU Family of the Year will be honored, and there also be a tribute to the founders. And E. Smith, a time capsule to open in 2043, will be buried. Following the tribute, items from the time capsule that was buried when the university celebrated its 125th birthday will be on display. For more information, call 672-1474. Number 3, African Children's Choir. The African Children's Choir is scheduled to perform Thursday at 7 p.m. at Lewis Chapel Missionary Baptist Church, 5422 Rayford Road. The concert is free and open to the public, and offering will be taken to support the choir's program in education and relief and development. Number 4, Vera Bradley Bingo. The Autism Society of Cumberland County will have its 16th annual Vera Bradley Bingo fundraiser April 13th at the Kwanzaa Recreation Center, 352 Denver Street. Doors open at 5 p.m. Bingo starts at 6. There are $25 packages available in advance at the door. Go to www.autismcc.org to purchase tickets for more information. We want to hear from you. Please submit your events and reading at least 10 days in advance. Email calendar at fayeobserver.com or fax details 486-3545. For questions, call 486.
Of striking sanitation workers in Memphis, Tennessee, that I've been to the mountaintop and seen the promised land. I may not get there with you, but I want you to know tonight that we, as a people, will get to the promised land. About 20 hours later, King was felled by an assassin's bullet at the Lorraine Motel. In 1776, George Washington received an honorary degree of laws from Harvard College. In 1882, outlaw Jesse James was shot to death in St. Joseph, Missouri by Robert Ford, a member of James' gang. In 1942, during World War II, Japanese forces began their final assault on Bataan against American and Filipino troops, who surrendered 6 days later. The capitulation was followed by the notorious Bataan Death March. In 1948, President Harry S. Truman signed the Marshall Plan, designed to help European allies rebuild after World War II and resist communism.
Birthdays. Singer Wayne Newton is 76. Singer Tony Orlando is 74. Blues singer guitarist John Mooney is 63. Actor Alex Baldwin is 60. Actor David Hyde Pierce is 59. Comedian actor Eddie Murphy is 57. Rock star Sebastian Bach is 50. Olympic gold medalist ski racer Placebo Street is 47. Comedian Ari Spears is 43. Actor Kobe Summers is 36. Rock pop singer Lena Lewis is 33. Actress comedian Rachel Bloom is 31. Actress Haley Kikio is 27.
Applause goes out to Jennifer Kolak of Fayetteville. She earned a Doctor of Physical Therapy degree from the College of St. Scholastica in Duluth, Minnesota during the fall 2017 semester. Lynn McDonald of Fayetteville earned a Doctor of Physical Therapy degree from the College of St. Scholastica in Duluth, Minnesota during the fall 2017 semester. Congratulations.
Public safety. Quashawn Trayvon Williams, 17, of 3300 block of Hunting Bay Drive in Spring Lake, was charged Monday with breaking and entering, larceny, possession of stolen property, and conspiracy. Bail was set at $7,500. Janelle Monet Ross, 22, of 1500 block of Drake Stone Court, was charged Monday with breaking and entering, common law robbery, and conspiracy. Bail was set at $10,000. Clayton Allen Page, 26, of 2600 block of Dumfries Drive, was charged Monday with breaking and entering to terrorize, violating a domestic violence protective order, violating the sex offender registry by failing to report a change of address and misdemeanor damage to real property. Bail on the sex offender charge was set at $25,000. Bail on the other charges will be set in district court today. Robert Lee Hunt, 28, of 2000 block of English Oak Drive, was charged Monday with assault by strangulation. Bail will be set in district court today. Quentin LeVar Brown, 37, of 2900 block West Comer Drive, was charged Monday with 2 counts of forgery and 1 count of utter a forged instrument. Bail was set at $2,000. Natalia Norma, artist, 19, of 500 block Moore Street, was charged Monday with attempting to obtain property by failed pretense and car theft by scanning device. Bail was set at $10,000. Charles Taylor Thomas, 24, of 1100 block of Mary Maple Lane, was charged Monday with common law obstruction of justice. Bail was set at $2,000. Break-in. MacArthur Road, 2600 block, reported at 4:04 a.m. Sunday. Nothing reported missing. Robbery. Cumberland Street, Donald Elvis Stubbs reported at 2:21 a.m. Monday that he was robbed on the 400 block of Cumberland Street by someone with a blunt object.
A glimpse back to 1993. Fayetteville State University Chancellor James Anderson carefully removed the large plastic bags filled with books, photographs, and other trinkets from where they have rested underground since 1993. I was really surprised everything survived so well and intact, he said, surveying the items. On Monday, university officials unearthed a time capsule that had been buried on Founders Day 25 years ago to inspect the contents. A ceremonial unearthing will be held today, and the contents will be on display at Seabrook Auditorium beginning Thursday as part of this year's Founders Day activities. A lot has changed in 25 years, and the contents of the time capsule show that. There were dry erase markers for whiteboards, a Sony double dynasty computer disk set, and dozens of documents dated 1992. Back then, university's information technology building was a cafeteria. There wasn't a fountain near the entrance of campus, and the nursing building didn't exist. This week, university officials will bury their own time capsule that will be unearthed in 2043. Anderson said the contents for the capsule will include more physical objects as opposed to paper documents. He said he planned on submitting a plaque given to him by students who called him the coolest chancellor in the state system, as well as documents that show the university's dedication to its students. It's important to include documents that show the university exceeded its $25 million 5-year capital campaign and reports on the university's strategic plans, he said. I want them to see how we've advanced, Anderson said. There's been a lot of advancement in the past 10 years. When we think about the Fayetteville State University of 2043, he envisions a strong university. By that point, he predicts technological advancement will make way for twice as many classes to be held digitally. The time capsule has offered a unique glimpse of the past while helping officials second-class accomplishments, he said. This simply maintains consistency over time, Anderson said. It's part of your overall university history. The next thing I hopefully will see is a historical marker for Fayetteville State's beginnings. And if you don't know, Fayetteville State University is the second oldest state school in North Carolina.
Live Wire, Observer Staff. Robinson Street has an animal control department. Question. I need to know if there's anything I can do about an animal that I believe has been neglected but now has been taken to another county. A Cumberland County animal control officer came to investigate the situation and issued a citation to the owner of the animal. An officer later came back twice and did not take the animal. The animal has now been taken to Robinson Street and Cumberland County Animal Control. Officials tell me it is no longer their problem. To whom do I complain, since complaining to animal control is no good? In TheFayetteville. Answer. You'll have to call officials in Robinson County, according to a Cumberland County spokeswoman. If the animal is now in Robinson County, the concerned citizen should contact Robinson County Animal Control, Sally Sudd. The spokeswoman said in an email response to your question. Cumberland County's animal control does not have jurisdiction in another county. The number of Robinson County Animal Control is 910-865-2200. Stephen Devane. Question. Kim Diener on WTVD Channel 11 is the meteorologist. Why is she being used as a traffic person instead of a meteorologist? B.W. Rayford. Diener said she is still a meteorologist and will be doing the weather occasionally in coming weeks. They were in need of someone to do traffic, and I love filming them so much that I stayed, Diener said. It is a great group of people, and the hours work for my family. Roger Miller. Livewire seeks to answer questions of general interest and consumer topics. Initials are used to identify questionnaires when names are given. Contact Livewire at livewire@fayettevilleobserver.com or at 486-3516.
Fayetteville senior bumped off idol. Lee Vassey, 20 of Fayetteville, did not advance Monday night in the 2018 edition of the American Idol music competition television show. She was vying for a spot among the top 24 singers to make it to the next round. I think what I really got from that experience is that I could turn my passion into a career, Vassey previously told the Fayetteville Observer. I think it really motivated me. She was born as Hailey Vargas Sullivan and began performing as a child. Vassey played young Nyla in the Tony Award-winning play The Lion King on Broadway, starting when she was 9. She graduated from 71st High School in 2014. Vassey's performance was not aired on the telecast Monday. A short portion of her meeting with the judges was aired. In certain cases, you nailed it. In certain cases, it left me wondering, who are you? Lionel Richie said. Earlier, Richie told Vassey that she had a great vibe, while she and 3 others finished a group performance. Richie pop singer Katy Perry and country singer Luke Bryan judged the show. Bassey was among 50 people who advanced to the showcase round. We love you and appreciate you, Lee.
In brief, Methodist men's golf ranked number 1. Methodist University's men's golf team has jumped from 5th position to number 1 in the latest Division III Golf Week coach polls. The Monarchs have won their 2 most recent outings, the Jekyll Island Invitation and the Camp Lejeune Inter-Colleague. They received 13 first place votes and 443 points, or 200 more than poll runner-up Hunterdon, which competes with Methodist in the USA South Athletic Conference. Emory, St. Thomas, and Guilford round out the top 5. I'm very proud of my guys. Methodist College, Steve Conley texted from Lynchburg, Virginia, where his junior varsity team is competing in the tournament. They have worked very hard this winter, and they are playing great this spring. Still lots of good teams out there, so they know we have to keep playing well to get what we want. 3 Methodist players are averaging better than 73. Chris Drysdale leads the way at 72.1. Larkin Gross is at 72.5. Dan Shepard is at 72.7. Jared Chin, who played at Terry Sanford, is averaging 73. The Monarchs are ranked 2nd in the most recent Golf State national rankings. They last won the most recent of their 11 NCAA championships in 2015, and they are the USA South Conference titleists in 2016-2017. Methodist's win in the Camp Lejeune Inter-Colleague marked his 3rd consecutive victory in that event. The Monarchs shot even par or better in both rounds of the rain-shortened competitions, and 3 players, Gross, Drysdale, and Aaron, wound up in 10th place in top 10. Methodist won the Jekyll Island tournament by 11 shots over Glenford. The Monarchs wrapped up the regular season at the Emory Invitation on Sunday and Saturday.
Judge sides with former hotel developer. What, if any, financial interest City Councilman Tyrone Williams has with the former Prince Charles Hotel property remains a public mystery, though whispering about the details have reached a high pitch. A 2013 document from a bankruptcy court proceeding does appear to establish on record one thing, that previous Prince Charles owner John Chin is right that he does not owe Williams money related to the property. U.S. Bankruptcy Court Judge Randy D. Dobb wrote in an order signed on April 29, 2013, that Williams' claim that Chin owed him $100,000 shall be disallowed in its entirety. According to a reliable source, Fayetteville City Council members were made aware of the bankruptcy court document and supporting documents in a meeting on March 19th that was closed to the public. Durham-based Prince Charles Holdings bought the property at 450 Hay Street at auction in late 2014. It has now become an important component of downtown redevelopment. The property is next to a baseball stadium scheduled to open next year and serve as home to a minor league baseball club affiliated with the Houston Astros. Prince Charles Holdings is working at converting the long-troubled former hotel into apartments, while also building a new hotel, retail and office space, and a parking deck. The group is planning at least $65 million in investment. Williams, who began serving on the City Council in December, met with representatives of Prince Charles Holdings on December 21st. The contents of that meeting have not been disclosed. The Federal Bureau of Investigation is investigating allegations against Williams in a manner involving Prince Charles Holdings. Neither FBI agents nor Jordan Jones, Prince Charles' project manager, have revealed any details. Last month, Williams was the only council member to vote against $300,000 to move forward with stadium construction, citing the cost. I called Williams on Monday and Friday. He has not returned any of my phone calls or texts and has answered very few reporters' questions about the matter. Over the decades, many have tried and many have failed in turning the former Prince Charles Hotel, built by community investors in the 1920s, into a profitable venture. Chin, a New York developer, bought the property at auction in 2007 and became embroiled in disagreements with the Historic Resources Commission and city officials over code violations and changes he wanted to make to the historic property. He filed for bankruptcy on the property in 2012. Chin told a reporter over text messages last week he did not borrow $100,000 from Williams in 2007, but paid back the money with interest. A promissory note from 2008 shows the interest was 14%. Chin called Williams a liar. Williams did not show up at a bankruptcy court hearing on April 13, 2013. The bankruptcy court representing the state's Eastern District noted that Williams filed a claim on the money in December of 2012, and Chin filed an objection the next month. Evidence the court considered included the promissory note for the $100,000, a demand letter from the firm of Lewis, Dees, and Nance and John G. Briggs III, representing Williams, related to payment of the money, copies of cashier checks to the Lewis firm for the amount of the loan, and evidence that it was deposited, and a statement from U.S. Housing and Urban Development that showed Briggs used the $100,000 on Williams' behalf in a real estate transaction. In other words, the court seems to stand for square behind Chin's account, raising the question of why Williams filed a claim to the contrary in the first place. A related question is if Williams thinks Prince Charles Holdings owes him money on the property, even though it bought the property after John Chin was no longer affiliated with it. There is also a question of why did he meet in December with the Prince Charles Holdings investors 2 weeks after he was sworn in, when they bought the property more than 3 years ago? Had he met with them before? Williams is not answering any of these questions, and neither is anyone else. Yet, we taxpayers who are yoked to this major investment on Hay Street are owed answers from the people who serve us. Don't you think? And that column is from Myron B. Pitts.
Recreation. Ron Kahn playing for national hockey title. Today, the Carolina Junior Hurricanes 16U girls squad is headed to Marlborough, Massachusetts for the USA Hockey Youth Nationals. Among them will be defenseman Sarah Von Kahn, a Lakeview resident and student at Union Pines, who was selected this year to play for the Junior Hurricanes Tier 2 team. The team, part of the Raleigh Youth Hockey Association, including girls from North Carolina, South Carolina, and Georgia. The Junior Hurricanes begin to play at Nationals on Thursday at the New England Sports Center. In 3 pool play games, they will face off against teams from California, Massachusetts, and Michigan. Brackets play begins Sunday, and the championship game is Monday. The Junior Hurricanes are part of a 16-team field by regional winners from across the country. The Canes earned their spot by winning the Southeastern District Championship, beating the Tampa Bay Crunch 1-0 on March 18th in Ruston, Virginia. All the girls were extremely excited and honored to represent ice hockey in the Southeastern during this tournament, Sarah's father, Jim Von Kahn, said. The games will be very fast and very physical as teams fight to be crowned the United States champions. Von Kahn said excitement for the tournament is high high with the U.S. women's national hockey team recently claiming the gold medal at the Olympics in Pyeongchang. Coming on the heels of the USA women's gold medal win at the Winter Olympics just a month ago, many have dreams of standing on the podium in the future. Sarah got her start in hockey at the age of 5, playing the roller rink variety in Pinehurst before taking up ice hockey with the Cape Fear Youth Hockey Association at Fort Bragg, Cleveland rink, often lone girl on an all-boys team. The junior Hurricanes won the Carolina Amateur Hockey Association Championship, which covered North and South Carolina this season before moving on to districts. The cost of the trip to nationals is high, running from $3,000 to $4,000 per person. The player has set up a GoFundMe page to accept donations to help offset the cost of the trip. Community sports writer Jacqueline Scherberg can be reached at jscherberg@fayeobserver.com or 609-0651. Good luck, Von Connor.
Let's look at the identification of the station. It's really good to see female athletes enjoying the spoils of the athletic world. Welcome to the Southeastern North Carolina Radio Reading Service, a United Way partner agency. We are located on the campus of Fayetteville State University, and our signal is carried by WUNC Chapel Hill. Today, we will be continue reading the news for today's edition of the Fayetteville Observer. If you are enjoying the readings, please call and let us know how we're doing. We look to hear from you soon.
Sex offenses suspect appear in court. Everstein Aldridge, accused of multiple sex acts involving a minor, was agitating and fidgeting during his first appearance hearing on Monday in Cumberland County District Court, and has to be hustled out of the courtroom by bailiffs as he glared at the investigator in the case. As Judge Todd Baggett read the long list of charges, which includes second-degree forcible rape and forced sex offenses, taking indecent liberties from a minor, statutory rape, and other sex offenses, Aldridge, 45, shifted his weight, leaned on the table in front of him, crossing his arms and rolled his eyes. In each case, Baggett gave the maximum sentences to Aldridge could face, which ranged from 240 months to life in prison. At one point, Baggett asked Aldridge, who sported a mullet haircut and wore a jail-issued orange jumpsuit, if he knew how long the sentences were, knowing that the state now uses months rather than years. Aldridge said no, and Baggett told him to divide the months by 12. "I'm not very good at mathematics," Aldridge said. "I'm going to give you some time to figure it out while you're in jail," Baggett said. The alleged acts covered a period from August 2017 to January and involved a 13-year-old and a 15-year-old, according to the warrants. Aldridge was charged with identical offenses in February and was jailed then under a $500,000 bail. Combined with the $1,350,000 set Thursday on the new charges, Aldridge's bail now stands at $2 million. Should Aldridge make bail, Baggett noted that he was not to contact the victims nor any minor child. Aldridge leaned on the table and asked if the included his minor son, who he said did not live in with him at the time of the offenses. "My son wasn't in the house when all this went down," Aldridge said. "The boy was placed in another home," he said, and Aldridge is planning to go to court to get a custody rights. Aldridge asked if he would be able to talk with his son on the phone. "I don't believe you're going to be able to hear from him for a right good time," Baggett said. These allegations are false, Aldrich said. A first appearance hearing for Aldrich's girlfriend, Ruby Keener, 44, who was charged Thursday with multiple counts of obstructing justice, felony child abuse, and misdemeanor contributing to the delinquency of a minor, was held just before Aldrich. Keener, wearing a beige jail-issued T-shirt and khaki pants, stood erect and stared straight ahead of Baggett read the list of allegations against her. Each time she answered yes when Baggett asked if she understood the charges and the sentences. She asked to have a court-appointed attorney, which Baggett approved. Aldrich was given a court-appointed attorney in February and will continue to use that lawyer's services. Keener's bail remains at $1,374,000. Staff writer Nancy McClary can be reached at NMC Clary at FayeObserver.com or at 486-3568.
Town Board to seek charter change. The Hope Mills Board of Commissioners voted 3-2 Monday night to ask Town Attorney Dan Hartz, Jr. to draft a resolution of the board's intent to change the town charter so commissioners would serve 4-year staggered terms instead of the current 2 years. Mayor Pro Tem Mike Mitchell and Commissioners Pat Edwards and Jerry Legg voted in favor of drafting the resolution of intent to change the term length. Commissioners Jesse Bellflowers and Meg Larson voted against it. If commissioners adopt the resolution, they will set a public hearing on the issue. If they make the change, a petition of opposition signed by 10% of registered voters could force it to be placed on an ensuing municipal ballot. Hartz told commissioners they also could ask the State General Assembly to change the charter, but he didn't know if legislators would be willing to make the change. If commissioners decide to change the term length, they likely also would make the change so the leading voter getters at the next election would serve 4-year terms, with the others serving initial 2-year terms before running for 4-year terms 2 years later, Horowitz said. In other action, Randy Hum, Fayetteville's transit director, talked to commissioners about the possibility of establishing a Fayetteville area system of transit bus route to the town. Hume said the route would run from Cross Creek Mall to the Millstone Shopping Center area in Hope Mills. Bus service operating from 6 a.m. to 7 p.m. would cost about $134,350 a year, including a required separate service under the Americans with Disabilities Act. Hum said, running the service only at peak times during the day, twice in the morning, once at midday, and twice in the afternoon, would not require the ADA service and would cost about $46,750, he said. Mitchell said commissioners are in favor of some type of service. Mayor Jackie Warner said the town's celebration on the lake is scheduled for June 30th to July 4th. Tentative plans include a cardboard boat race, a jazz concert, a beach music street dance, a parade, fireworks, and a Miss July 4th contest. Commissioners also heard a presentation about the T.J. Robinson Life Center, a multi-sport and fitness facility that seeks to provide personal development for young people. Commissioners also met in closed session to discuss an economic development, personnel, and legal matters.
Astros settle in for final season at Blues Creek. Hip Hop Parade by Naughty by Nature blared from the sound system at Jim Perry Stadium late Monday afternoon, while a group dressed in a bright orange jersey loosened up on the field. The Blues Creek Astros have returned for their second and final season, playing on the campus of Campbell University in preparation for the 2018 Class A Carolina League baseball season. An affiliate of the world champion Houston Astros, Blues Creek is scheduled to start its regular season Thursday in Salem, Virginia. Most of the 25-man roster plus coaches and trainers arrived in Blues Creek over the weekend and traveling from Houston Spring Training Camp in West Palm Beach, Florida. Manager Morgan Ingsberg, a former third baseman for the Major League Astros, took the opportunity to visit the scenic Charleston, South Carolina on the trip north. I drove up from West Palm and I stopped by 6 hours in or so and stayed in a small town just west of Charleston, Ingsberg said. I actually woke up early and took the hour drive into Charleston just to see it because I hadn't seen it. I'm from LA and I wanted to see it. I went there and did that and drove up there. Ingsberg's baseball career hasn't brought him to North Carolina often, but this isn't his first time in the state. I actually in high school went to Duke baseball camp at the age of 16, he said. Then a few years ago, I was also out here and had a chance to see UNC baseball. So I've been out here, but I'm not super familiar. One of Astros players who is familiar with Blues Creek is outfielder Ronnie Dawson. The former Ohio State star received a late season promotion from Houston's lower class affiliated in Quad Cities late August and produced an impressive .329 batting average with a homer and 5 RBIs in the 13 games with Blues Creek. Because of his local knowledge, Dawson has been asked several times by new teammates about playing in Blues Creek. I told him it's quiet during games, Dawson said. It's a little different from Quad Cities, where a lot of us played last year. In Quad Cities, they have a Ferris wheel and stuff like that. They don't have all that extra stuff here, but we're here to play baseball. That's the biggest thing. Pitcher Corbin Martin has already embraced the small town atmosphere of Blues Creek. Martin, a second-year pro from Hempstead, Texas, was actually excited to be awarded a spot on the Blues Creek roster. It was a last-minute thing, he said. I did a lot of work in spring training with the coaches to try to get the spot. When I saw my name on the list, I was excited to make it here and start this journey. I didn't know anything about Blues Creek. I kind of wanted to be a mystery so I could get to know the town. I've gotten to play golf the last couple times, and it's beautiful here. It has a small-town vibe like where I'm from. This is the final season of the Astros in the Blues Creek. The team is scheduled to move to its new home to start the 2019 season in Fayetteville, where a new stadium is currently under construction downtown. Staff writer Sammy Batten can be reached at sbatten@fayettevilleobserver.com or 486-3534. I do not know anything about Blues Creek. I wanted a kind of mystery to be a mystery so I can get to know the town. I've gotten to play golf the last couple of days and it's beautiful here. It has a small town vibe like where I'm from pitcher Corbin Martin.
Ethics panel to review Williams' case. The Fayetteville Ethics Commission has heard only one case in 2 years, but city officials say they are confident the board will work diligently to sort out the facts in a controversial case involving Councilman Tyrone Williams. The City Council on Thursday asked the Ethics Commission to consider whether Williams, who was elected to the council in November, handled himself appropriately in dealings with Prince Charles Holdings. The Durham Group is investing about $65 million in development around a future minor league baseball stadium on Hayes Street downtown. During a March 19th closed session, the council was told about a December 21st meeting between Williams and Prince Charles Holdings. Details of the meeting haven't been made public. During the same closed session, City Attorney Karen McDonald reminded the council about rules for when they should recluse themselves from votes because of conflicts of interest. A week later, Williams reclused himself from a council vote and said he has a financial interest in Prince Charles Holdings. Jordan Jones, a partner in the investment group, said that is not true. Williams could not be reached for a comment Monday. Jones said his investment group has done everything above board. McDonald confirmed last week that the FBI has been investigating Williams and his dealings with Prince Charles Holdings. But neither she nor anyone else has said publicly why the agency is involved. Federal authorities won't say either. Council members said at Thursday's meeting that they are concerned about the negative image Williams may be causing the city and the council. They also are worried about the effects the allegations against Williams could have on the Houston Astros, the Major League Baseball team that has agreed to field a minor league affiliate in Fayetteville for 30 years. The team is expected to start playing in the new stadium beginning in the spring of 2019. At Thursday's meeting, the council directed the 5-member Ethics Commission to look into the allegations against Williams. City Manager Doug Hewitt said he plans to draft questions and guidelines for the Ethics Commission, including trying to determine whether Williams has a conflict of interest in his dealings with Prince Charles Holdings and whether he has a financial involvement with the investment group. Hewitt said he hopes to present the commissioner's marching orders to the City Council at a work session scheduled for 5 p.m. today in City Hall downtown. If the council approves the plan, Hewitt said it will then be sent to Bob Cogswell, the commission's lawyer. Cogswell has a long-time Fayetteville attorney here in Fayetteville. Cogswell said the Ethics Commission is barred by city ordinance from looking into potential criminal allegations against Williams. If we think it involves an allegation of a criminal act, then we have no jurisdiction to look into it, he said. Mayor Mitch Colvin had wanted an independent third party, such as the Cherry Burkhart accounting firm, to conduct an investigation into Williams' actions. Last year, Cherry Burkhart investigated overtime payments and other alleged wrongdoing in Hope County government. Instead, the council chose the city's all-volunteer Ethics Commission. Its 5 members consist of Fayetteville lawyer David Bach, accountant Dale Knowles, Stanley Dodson, a retired vice president at Cape Fear Valley Health System, Dr. Carol Jones, and Joseph Levister, Jr., vice president of the administrative service at Fayetteville Technical Community College. Bach and Knowles have been on the board for about 2 years. Knowles says she has heard 1 case in those 2 years. The other members are into a second, third-year term. I have all confidence that it is something we can work on without any problem, Knowles said. Hewitt said he thinks so too, partly because of Caldwell's presence. I have full faith in the Ethics Commissions to render opinions and to do whatever it has asked of them to do, Hewitt said. The Ethics Commission was formed in 2010, the result of 2007 controversy dubbed Ticketgate, in which a traffic citation given to a friend of Mayor Tony Schiavone was improperly voided by police.
At least 1 person was ejected from a vehicle in a wreck Monday night at Southern Eastern Boulevard in East Russell Street in Fayetteville. 2 people critically injured in crash. 2 people critically injured in a 2-vehicle crash late Monday at South Eastern Boulevard in West Russell Street, Fayetteville police said. The wreck happened at 9:03 p.m. Sergeant Sean Sturpay, police spokesman, a Cumberland County Sheriff's Office deputy, was attempting to stop a driver who was traveling east on West Russell Street, Sturpay said. The driver, operating silver Kia, ran a red light at an intersection and crashed into a white sport utility vehicle. 2 people were ejected from a Kia. The driver of the Kia is in custody of the Sheriff's Office, Sturpay said. The wreck shut down Eastern Boulevard between LaCuste and Percy Streets. The injured people were taken to Cape Fear Valley Medical Center with life-threatening injuries, Sturpay said. 1 occupant in the SUV was taken to the hospital with injuries that were believed to be non-life-threatening, he said. No other information was immediately available.
Purnell Sweat edges Hope County in 2-1 win. The Purnell Sweat baseball team came into the Livingston County Slugfest tournament with plenty of motivation after winning only one of its first 13 games this season. First-year coach Jeff Lamb saw the 3-day event as an opportunity for the Rams, who have one of the toughest schedules in the state, to build some momentum for the rest of the 2018 campaign. After doubling their win total in a pair of games at Lumberton High School, including Monday's 2-1 victory in 8 innings over top-seeded Hope County, the Rams will have a chance to silence the doubters when they hit the diamond tonight at 7 against Fairmont for the Slugfest title. We're finally coming together, Lamb said. A lot of what's driving us. Right now, we're looking for respect. We've struggled defensively, but we know we're a pretty good ball team. We're beginning to show it. We're competing, and that's all you can ask. The Rams, 3-12, and Bucks, 9-8, are locked in a pitcher's duel in Monday's semifinal, with the teams combining for 6 hits on the night. Hope County's Logan Goins logged 11 strikeouts and didn't allow an earned run in 7-2 innings. Purnell Sweat didn't get its first hit until number 9 hitter Noel Locklear lined a single to center field in the top of the 6th inning. It was one of only 2 hits for the Rams, but Goins walked 5 batters, including Braden Scott, to start the top of the 8th. Scott would score the go-ahead run on a 2-out single by Noah Evington, who plated both runs for the Rams. We still have a lot of work to do at the plate, but it was the right time with the right guy at the plate, Lamb said. Noah came up, and that's the perfect guy to come up in that situation. Purnell Sweat southpaw Jeremiah Locklear allowed 4 hits and 1 earned run in 7 innings. He struck out 5 batters before being pulled for reaching his pitch count. You have to tip your hat to Jeremiah, Lamb said. He threw a heck of a game up to that point. We're making plays now. Like Lamb, Jeremiah Locklear was out to earn some respect for his squad. I don't like the respect we've been getting. I didn't like that one bit, he said. On Saturday, we came in with the mindset to fight. We've fought. Evington's RBI groundout in the opening frame gave the Rams an early 1-0 advantage before the Bucks plated their only run on an RBI single off the bat of Ryan Taylor in the bottom of the 4th inning. Eugene Wilkins relieved Jeremiah Locklear in the 8th inning and picked up the win. After giving up a leadoff walk to start the frame, he sandwiched a ground out with a pair of strikeouts to send the Rams into tonight's title game. I don't want to give anyone any bulletin board material, but we won against Hope, Lamb said. We want this to leap us into the last half of the season. Every game from here on out for us is playoffs. We have to win just about every game to go dancing. That's the mentality we're taking.
The Fayetteville City Council today is expected to discuss funding models for reconstructing the Lewis Street Bridge in the Hollywood Heights neighborhood of Scarborough Road. The issue is one of the several items scheduled for the council's work session. The agenda has also includes the discussion for 4-year staggered terms for council members and proposed zoning law changes that would prohibit 18-wheeler trucks from parking in neighborhoods. The work session is scheduled for 5 p.m. at City Hall on 433 Hayes Street. In January, city officials closed the Lewis Street Bridge for precautionary reasons after 2 annual inspections found the structure is rapidly deteriorating. Inspectors told the city that the level of deterioration made it unsafe for vehicles. Closure of the bridge led to complaints from residents The bridge closure has limited access to Hollywood Heights neighborhood, increasing commute times and caused problems for those who were hit hard by Hurricane Matthew in 2016, residents say. City Councilman Larry Wright, who represents Hollywood Heights, said he is working hard to find a solution. We are looking into all types of funding avenues to get this bridge built as soon as possible, he said. The council will be presented with 3 funding models at the work session. The bridge's reconstruction could be paid for the city by community development block grant or by the NC Department of Transportation, city documents say. If the city pays for reconstruction, the city would design the bridge as it is built to save time, Wright said. It is estimated that the bridge's reconstruction would cost the city $3.3 million. The city documents say neither community development block grant funding nor State Department of Transportation funding are guaranteed. The community development block grant funding comes from a federal program that gives money to the state, which then gives the money to counties that sustained the worst damage during Hurricane Matthew. Wright also asked that the council discuss the possibility of changing council members' terms for four-year staggered terms. Currently, elections are held every 2 years. On May 9, 2016, the council failed via a 5-5 vote to pass a motion by Wright to hold a public hearing on the proposed change to the city's charter. Council members Jim Art, Kathy Jensen, then Mayor Nat Robertson, and then Councilor Bobby Hertz and Kurt Devier voted in opposition. Wright said he believes that the same motion will pass this time around. We are spending too much money to run these elections every 2 years, he said. Councilman DJ Hare asked the city to consider new zoning laws regarding the 18-wheelers. Hare said in a request from the agenda package that residents have complained to him during 3 community watch meetings about 18-wheelers parking in neighborhoods. It is my hope to have staff assist me /use us in creating improving zoning where trucks can park safely overnight away from the neighborhoods, Hare said on request form. He said in his request document that he hopes the zoning rule changes and creates new business opportunities.
This is the Southeastern North Carolina Radio Reading Service, a United Way partner agency. We broadcast from the campus of Fayetteville State University, and our signal is carried by WUNC Chapel Hill. As a nonprofit agency, we rely on public donations. We request your support to continue our services. When making charitable donations, please keep the Southeastern Reading Service in mind. Our post office box number is 35029, Fayetteville, North Carolina, 28303. If you have any questions or comments, please call us at 910-672-1600 or our toll-free number 1-844-709-5656. Make sure you got that. Please call us at 910-672-1600 or our toll-free number 1-844-709-5656. Your radio hosts are Kiara and Linda Miller, and we are so proud to serve you today. One of Billy Graham's readings: sin is never to be taken lightly. Question: what's so serious about sin? No one is perfect, and as long as we don't hurt anyone, I don't see that it makes much difference if we fall short occasionally. Answer: we will never grasp the horror of human sin until we realize that it is so serious it caused the Son of God to be crucified. Ultimately, neither Pilate nor the leaders nor Judas, nor the mob were responsible for his death. We were, because of our sin. He went to the cross because of us. The ravages of war and poverty and injustice, the wrenching pain of loneliness and rejection, the haunting cry of the orphan and widow, these and 1,000 other tragedies bear witness to the fact that we live in a world poisoned by sin. Don't ever take sin lightly. It's like an evil spiritual cancer, bringing destruction and death to the whole world. And that is why Jesus died. As the Son of God, he was without sin. But in those last hours before his execution, all the accumulated sins of the world were poured into the cup he would drink. There was no other way for sin's terrible price to be paid. He alone was able to take upon himself the condemnation and hell we deserve. He did for us what we could never do for ourselves. He died in our place. But the cross and borrowed tomb were not the end. On the third day, that tomb was empty. Death has been conquered. Satan's power has been defeated. Sin has been judged, and Christ is alive forevermore. And even now, the risen Christ wants to come into our lives to forgive us and cleanse us and give us hope. Why not invite him to come into your life today?
Virtues of original sin liberalism. The searing politic and social divides in our country encourage a search for the magic key. We want a big idea that will explain why we disagree so passionately on gun control, abortion, taxes, and lots of other things. And also why we seem to loathe those whose beliefs diverge from our own. A few weeks ago, Robert Leonard, a radio news director in Knoxville, Iowa, took a thoughtful crack at exploring why Americans in rural areas so often differ from their urban fellow citizens on gun control. Writing in the New York Times, Leonard argued that their differences came down to radical opposed understandings of human nature, about as sweeping an explanation as you'll get. Leonard cited a 2015 Iowa speech from former Republican Congressman J.C. Watts. Mr. Watts said Democrats think people were born basically good, so when good people did bad things, something in society, in this case guns, need to be controlled. Leonard wrote, Republicans think the fault lies with the person, the perpetrator of the evil. Bad choices result in bad things being done in part because the perpetrator lacks the moral guidance the Christian faith provides. The reaction to mass shootings highlights this difference, Leonard continued. Liberals blame the guns and want to debate gun control. For conservatives, the blame lies with the shooter, not the gun. This is certainly a good description of the guns don't kill people retort or of this opposed to taking action against guns. Here's a problem, and perhaps this might help us talk to each other about these matters. Ensuring optimism about human nature is not in fact central to the liberal creed. On the contrary, especially since the 1930s and 1940s, liberals have been acutely aware of our fallen nature and our capacity for evil. The Holocaust involved the destructiveness of nuclear weapons and the staggering death toll of World War II made thoroughly sunny perceptions about human goodness obsolete. The horrors in this period gave birth to the different kinds of liberalism, installed in the thinking of theologic in Harold Nearby. As the historian Arthur Singer Jr. wrote in honor of one of his heroes, Nearby reflections on the contemporary meaning of the Christian concept of original sin taught liberals and everyone else about the mixed, elaborate character of human nature, creative impulses matched by destructive impulses. regard for other overruled by excessive self-regard, the will to power the individual under constant temptation to play God to history. As a original sin liberal myself, I agree with Leonard's friends and neighbors that human beings can do terrible things and that accountability is part of justice. But I'd argue in turn that the law exists precisely to tame the savageness of man, a phrase Robert Kennedy drew from classical sources. The human capacity for sin and evil requires us to consider that denying someone the right to own a AR-15 may enhance the right to life of far more people than those restrained by such a restriction. I don't pretend that any of this will persuade Leonard's skeptical friends and neighbors to support gun control, but I would ask them to ponder the possibility that our convictions about humanity and our flaws may not be as different as they might imagine.
The obituary today. Funerals in Cumberland County. Today. John Amos Stewart Jr., 77 of Fayetteville. 1 p.m. Mount Olive Missionary Baptist Church, Muscle Shoals, Alabama. Burial Zion No. 1 Missionary Baptist Church, Cemetery, Cherokee, Alabama. Wiseman Mortuary. Lyman Split, 92 of Fayetteville, 11 a.m. Adcock Funeral Home, Chapel, Burial, Cumberland Memorial Gardens with military honors. Adcock Funeral Home. Marcelo McDougal, 82 of Fayetteville, 11 a.m. Simon Temple, AME Zion Church, Burial, Church, Cemetery, Herring, Funeral Care, and Cremation. Betsy Driggers, 83 of Fayetteville. Visitation only, 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Rogers and Brees Funeral Home, Rogers and Brees, Fayetteville. Cumberland County deaths. Joanne Marie McAlpin. Miss Joanne Marie Horn McAlpin, 81 of Stedman, passed away on Friday, March 30th, 2018 in her home. A visitation will be on Tuesday, April 3rd at Butler Funeral Home in Stedman from 6 to 7 p.m., followed by a service at 7 p.m. The funeral service will be held on Wednesday, April 4th at 12 p.m. at Clemens First Baptist Church in Clemens, North Carolina, by Reverend Scott Hammett officiating. Burial will follow in the West Lawn Gardens of Memory and Clemens. The family will receive friends prior to the service from 11 a.m. until 11:45 a.m. Herbert L. Dawson. Mr. Herbert L. Dawson, 90, of Fayetteville, died Thursday, March 29, 2018. Funeral Thursday, 1 p.m., Colvin Funeral Home Chapel. Visitation, Colvin Funeral Home Chapel, Wednesday, 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. Burial,